In this video, I'm going to go through reviewing this particular ASIN, which is in the Moringa capsules supplement niche. So I found this ASIN. It looks like they launched roughly about 60 days ago. We're going to take a look at their process, their launch, and see what they're doing, get a better understanding of how everything's kind of set up, and then I'm going to try to do my best to kind of rip it apart and see how or what they could do to do better. Okay, so we'll just start off with their listing. The main image on its own, without looking at any competitors, the main image appears somewhat dull. There definitely could be a lot of work here. There's a lot of dead space, especially at the capsule up here. Showing the powder might be a good thing. There's a bunch of text that is really tiny. Very hard to see. Comes in at the 180 capsules. This one I assume has something to do with bone health, but again, it's not the clearest image or emoticon for the listing. This says Moringa 1500 megagrams, so I'm gonna take a note of that and try to see if 1500 megagrams is something that people actually want. We should be able to see that in the keywords and the keyword research side. We got it's a herbal nutrition supplement, and that's it. And then there's some tiny, let's just zoom in here. So we have rich support joint health. So these are benefits. So these can definitely be blown up. We do want the customer to be able to see these benefits right off the gate and be the reason for why it gets the click. So right here on the main image, that's all we're really focused on. So there could be a lot more work that could be done here. They have a bunch of capsules everywhere. Showing capsules is nice. Showing excessive amount of capsules I think is unnecessary. They just have to understand that it is a capsule. What's probably better is to throw in a lot more of the actual moringa leaf kind of everywhere to see if they can make this pop a little bit more. But there's a lot of real estate that can be done with this to really make it pop a bit more. Okay, so going to their secondary images. Okay, so you got 100% moringa leaves, then a bunch of benefits, and then they say 180 veggie capsules, take 2 capsules. So there's already too much information here. General rule of thumb is to really just keep the messaging to at least at max. So they're going to have way too much going on here. And really working on the call out is much better. Work on the call outs to convert is going to be 100% better than just stating, say, 100% moringa leaves. I want to know why, right? So you could probably get rid of the brand name here and figure out what the benefit is. If you can put a benefit in the main call out, that's going to do much better, because people are already on your page. You probably don't need to say that it's moringa herbal supplement, because they already know that. So just tell them something new that they don't know already. Okay, so next one, they have a why choose us. So these work fine. One thing is it's probably unnecessary to have 2 of these. You really just need to have one. There's just too much information to kind of compare. So it's basically, it should be for the actual brand versus a generic brand. Having A and B makes no difference, especially since the only difference in terms of the claim is the number of capsules. And then this also doesn't make any sense. Like, days of supply is 30 and 30, but then these have more caps. So that's already kind of confusing. The goal is never ever confuse the customer, because if they get confused, they're going to leave the listing. So right here it says, okay, serving size. Okay, so that's your biggest comparison when you're going after competitors. You got 180 caps. I would actually say capsules, because I'm sure there's people out there that might not know what caps actually stands for. So it's really important to spell everything out for everybody. Days in supply, yeah, so that would be pretty important. And moringa content, yeah, this seems pretty good. So in general, you can't, same idea. You really only want 3 to 4 points. You don't want to mention too much, because they're going to lose focus on this screen. So they should instantly know within 3 to 5 seconds exactly what they're looking at and why, right? So this, you kind of have to read everything, and there's just a bit too much information. I'd probably get rid of some of these or combine them or something like that. And there's no content here, so having something showing that there's less megagrams per capsule would probably be pretty important here. And then we'll see if, based on the data that we look at, if there's something else that we could probably put in here. Okay, so now we have easy to swallow capsules. Okay, so this is for people who are scared to take capsules. So measuring it against a penny, so that's perfectly fine. 2 caps daily dose. So these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Swallow. So I'm not really sure. I'm a bit confused by why you need this disclaimer specifically on this page, especially because it's just about how many capsules there are and how many do you have to actually take a day. So it's a 90 capsule bottle supply. So that's also confusing. I think what they're trying to say here is you have 180 capsules and 90 days bottle supply. So the messaging here is wrong, and definitely need to fix that. But you can see this is one where I knew exactly what it was saying within 3 to 5 seconds. So like it's an easy to swallow capsule. Like that caption alone is perfect and just fine. Okay, and then it shows an avatar that's in the younger age. I don't fully know the demographics, but we'll figure that out, and whether that's the right avatar to put in here. Okay, and then you have Moringa capsules for supports joint health. So that's already that sentence needs to be improved. So herbal nutrition supplement. Again, you don't need to say that. You already said it again. And then outside that, it doesn't really tell me much. Like, if your call out is going to be something about supporting joint health, then you gotta show the joints, and you gotta point out to the customer reading this why it's good, because you're trying to speak to the customer who's selling, and if they're suffering with joint health, you got to show the suffering of that joint health and how these Moringa pills can help solve that. Formula. Okay, so this alone is going to be a try to be a social proof statement, and then you have somebody here that's older showing authority with a doctor outfit, present, active, and love life. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. So I'd probably get rid of that. Supplement facts. Okay, so one thing to note about supplement facts is it's right at the very back of the listing. So I would consider, if this is important, the 1500 megagrams, and especially it's in here as well, then you definitely probably want to put the supplement facts as number 2, because that's probably what someone's looking for. They want to know right off the bat that, okay, there's 1500 megagrams in every single capsule. And then on top of that, you mentioned it's vegan, it's GMP, it's GMO. So again, there's just way too much going on here. So if you're going to want to do this type of image, you're probably just going to want the supplement facts only, and then maybe you can throw this into like that joint health one. Right? So overall, the image stack is not great. They didn't use the full stack here. Let's see if there's videos. Okay, so there is videos, and it looks like there is. So these look like social proof videos, or UGC videos, so that's good. Okay, so let's keep moving on. So Moringa pure capsules, rich Moringa powder, natural green oxidant. So when it comes to the title, you got to think about it in terms of desktop and mobile. So mobile, you only care about the first 60 characters, but you got to fit in the details that someone would want to know. So if one of your key features is that you have 180 capsules, I would write 180 capsules and put it at the front. That's because that's what people read. So you can have Moringa pure capsules, 180 pieces, maybe in brackets or something like that, so that they could break it out. And then just mention big benefits that people are struggling with, something like joint health, gut health, and stuff like that. So you have it near the back here, which is not going to show up. It's important to have your main keywords up here, but definitely you want to create a listing or a title that's going to convert. And especially now that you can only have one root word in the title without it duplicating each other, it's more important than ever to, or it's even easier to kind of put these types of keywords right at the front. Okay, and let's see what else we got. So really good rating, 51 ratings, 4.9. Launched about 2 months ago. Has a 30% coupon. Has a 2-pack and a 1-pack. So they have a variation thing going on. This is such a great deal. They'll probably be making a lot more money here. So they're increasing their AOV by doing this. And they're probably saving on the FBA fees because they can ship it in as a 2-pack versus a 1-pack. And then they can make a bit more profit on that side of things. So this all looks fine. That's good. And we're not going to go through the bullet points. And we're just going to quickly scan their A+. So it looks visually appealing. Everything is green, lots of social proof, lots of features, benefits. I would have to see this in mobile. They got some, this looks like AI, but that's fine. 100% vegetarian, Moringa 1500. So like the callouts have to be better. Under okay. So it's okay. Like it's visually appealing, but you can definitely get the message across much better. There's too much information here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah, they have the video down here, so it shows there, and I did see that they had posts as well. So they have posts running as well. And yeah, so they got some pretty good reviews. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly jump over to Jungle Ace, where we can kind of learn a little bit more and do some product research. So I already typed in all the competitors for Moringa Pure Capsules. And an area that I want to look at is the buyer persona. So it's going to tell us who our avatar is, and we're going to think about all the images that we just reviewed for our product and try to get an understanding of whether we hit it. So the top one is a health conscious millennial, 25 to 35. So that person that they put in their image would be right in that demographic. Mostly females, great. Young professionals, fitness enthusiast. Okay, let's see if there's anything that they value. Organic, non-GMO, vegan friendly, sustainably sourced. So having the word organic, I didn't get that from here. So that would be pretty important to put in. Balancing business life with healthy living, often lacks time for meal prep. Easy way to incorporate natural supplements to their diet. Okay, so this is just a natural supplement that they would want. Then we got buyer persona number 2, older adults seeking natural remedies. Okay, so 55 to 70, male and female. Proven health benefits, easy to swallow capsules. So that easy to swallow capsule is meant for this target market or this demographic. So now coming back to here, this now doesn't make sense. You want easy to swallow capsules, and then you're going to want a demographic of someone that's older. Because for the millennials, this is not the problem for them. It would be the older demographic. So that's another thing that I would probably change there. Okay, then buyer persona number 3 is mostly male, 30 to 40. These guys are busy professionals. Pain point, high stress, lack of energy, time constraints on healthy meals, quick nutritional support. Okay, so it's kind of similar to this. This one, they care more about the fitness side of things. This one is they just want more about health and really trying to get that focus in. Yeah, okay. So it's a really good range. The millennials should be female, and then we have busy professionals that are around 30 to 45 that are mostly males, and then we have the older generation that could be both male and female. All right, so we're going to take a look at emotional triggers. So these are generally keywords that I want to make sure that are in my copy and mentioned several times. So I talked a lot about callouts. So we're going to want to be calling a lot of these out where it makes sense. So health consciousness, customers care about their health. Moringa is known for nutritional benefits, making buyers feel they're investing in their well-being. So health consciousness would be like a call out that I would talk about. Natural living, people are increasingly attracted to natural products. So organic, it's the same thing. So really talking about the organic, the pure, Moringa capsule powder, etc. Social proof, So we did kind of see that. Oh, this is more like authority, but there was a slide here. Where was it? Right here. So more than 100,000 customers choose loyalty. So this one is done well. Creates that social proof there. Savings on supplements. Reading the demographics, I probably wouldn't say this is high on the list. Fear of missing out, probably not. Trust in science, so science backing. So we did see an image focusing on doctors being it science backed. Well-being and vitality, community connections, probably not. Helping others, nostalgia, mind-body connection, eco-friendliness, hope for a healthier future. So this one's probably a big one. Represents a step towards longevity and health. Customers are motivated by the hope that the product will improve their lives in the long run. So yeah, this would be important. Really trying to paint that picture for people for the future and to live their kind of their best healthy life. Okay, so we're going to jump over to product analysis. So what this tool basically does is it shows all of our images, or all the images of all the competitors, and we can just kind of dive through them and take a look at what are people doing. So this right now is organized by bestsellers and then in order. So I'm just going to try to get an idea of what the competitors are doing, or the best ones. So we'll take a look at main image first, and then so we saw our main image up here, and then we're going to start to now compare it against everything else. So real bright green, way better. It's much easier to read this, although I would probably increase these a bit. 60 capsules to show that. 100% peer, so that's a big one where they really try to make it stand out. This one doesn't talk about peer. Peer is important. It's right in their title as well, so having it right on the label is really important. Moringa in really big words, and then maximum potency is what they wrote there. And then they have a couple of badges. So this one's really hard to read. Not many people are going to recognize that unless they zoom in. But these recognize it immediately. So viral on TikTok, and then made in US. So social proof, and then just made in US gives a lot more trust. So this here is just like I mentioned, where you just have to only mention a few of them. So badges work great because a lot of people understand the badges without having to read it. So I don't even have to read what the made in US is, and I already know what this is. I don't even have to read this because I already know it has something to do with science. And if people can already understand icons that represent gluten-free, that's good. All natural, although they did repeat this, so that's a mistake on that front. So CGMP, if people know what CGMP is, they're gonna instantly see that. They don't have to say very much. And then this is probably the only one they're gonna read. Right here they have a millennial basically holding the supplement. So that's good. Another millennial, it's another female, so they nailed that. So they have 6 here, which I think is a bit too much, because they could also combine a bunch of these. Like they could just say bone and joint support, immune and digestion support, so that's already 2, and then skin support and superfood, right? Like they don't have to put it into 6 points. They can put it in 2 or 3, and then I would put a big call out, because these are the benefits, but what's the main call out? It's like healthier living or something like that, right? Like there's probably missed messaging there. So they talk about the mission, they reiterate those icons, social proof, supplement facts is near the back. So just pay attention to that. That's interesting. And then supplement facts. Okay, so talking about they show mega caps in large as a standout, peer, leaf, powder. They show the powder, they show the green powder made in US. So that's the other thing that I was thinking about. Like these don't look as appealing as the green powder capsules. It just shows that it's more pure. So they go this versus them. Yeah, so that's pretty common. Yeah, so they do this twice, which is interesting. Probably don't need that. They have an older individual, superfood, health, and then they have a female. So they directed it towards different genders for that one. Okay, so they show Moringa here. So that's not bad. It shows that as a powder. It'd be nice to see the actual capsule as well, so they know what they're getting. Supplement facts at the beginning. All the badges. Doesn't really say much there. Stay healthy and keep doing what you love. So you see they painted a picture, staying healthy, Moringa, and trying to present a future picture of themselves. Supplement facts at the beginning. What else we got here? So concentration levels. So this one's good. I like that because it just shows, it proves the pureness of it. Easy to swallow, 2 capsules daily. So there's not a lot here, and it says a lot. So that's a good. Okay, so kind of like a donation style, and now third-party labs, so scientific. Yeah, we're just gonna go through 2 more, and just so that we can kind of get an understanding. So yeah, we got a lot of this. We have a little bit too much going on here, but they thought through some of the elements. It could just be organized a bit differently. This picture could be done a lot better, but that's the messaging is good. So they got healthy fitness millennials. Okay. The leaves, so benefits. And then us versus them. Tons of badges. And a breastfeeding one specifically. Okay, let's just do one more. This one's kind of maybe a bit off because there's they add in other ingredients, so we're probably gonna ignore that one. So extra strength Moringa, 20 to 1. So okay, supplement facts made in US. So you notice how they just do one slide that represents made in US. I think that's very well done, if that's the point you want to make across. This one's pretty good too. Probably don't need this made in US. Probably just focus on these 3 and blow these on up even more. But yeah, this is trying to get the message across. There's not a lot of lines in messaging, and people might understand what's going on there. This one's probably a bit too much, but could probably be done by badges. And yeah, this is also done by badges. So basically the same thing. Like they could have just done by badges. You know what's kind of going on within a couple seconds. Okay, so now kind of going back to this. So what are we kind of missing here? So personally, I would probably put supplements in the back. These are good. I would actually, you're not using the full image stack, so I would start to actually break these out into multiple different ones. Get the imaging done. I don't actually think this is really even that important, so I would save this. I would put another type of image in here instead of that one. Comparison's fine. A lot of people are doing it, so you might as well just do it as well. Yeah, joint health. This one can definitely be improved, and yeah, too much going on. So there should be a slide specifically for this as well. Also, when you come in here, this is a made in the US is a big thing. This one has nothing to do with made in the US. The seller name is Chinese, so it's already a bit off-putting. So that's the one unfortunate part here. That might not work well in their favor. Okay, so let's now dive into the organic listing. So I just wrote in Moringa Pure Capsule. And so I like to usually take a look at the organic ranks, and mainly these top 5. These are the top 5 organic ones. And basically I have to ask myself, if I were to be in these top 5, how would I do it? So if I were to jump in here, I have to basically be able to hang out with everyone here. So am I able to hang out? So first I'd take a look at the reviews. So I have to be in at least 1,000. Unless I can be in the hundreds, but my price has to be $9.99. At $9.99, am I going to be able to be profitable here? Or is this just a play where they're trying to drive up rank? But in general, the person who ranks up at the top has the high conversion rate. So if this person right here cannot make a profit at $10, they will eventually fall once they start to raise their prices. Other price. So this one, 240, 180. This one costs a little bit more. This one's 19. So you would think this one would almost be higher than this, but maybe this one, their listing is much better than this one, but also you get a little bit more per count. So right here you got 10 cents per account versus 11 cents per account. So even though this one has more review count, the review ratings are basically the same. So when somebody chooses this one over this one, it's still very possible because the pricing isn't that far off, and this actually you get more value. So people might be willing to spend an extra $4 just to be able to take advantage of the actual savings, plus there's more to it. But in general, like price together drives a ton of conversion rates, and the guys who convert the best will rank the highest. So this is why this guy is much higher than these two, because the price is low enough where people can justify this and buy it. So then it comes down to these guys, which are priced much higher. So this one right here is technically the clear number one before this one came into the picture. And I think it's mainly because they have so much reviews. They've been here the longest. They have a good review rating compared to everyone else. Everyone basically has the same. So if you want to compete here, you have to be at least 4.5 stars. They are running a badge, so maybe they're running closer to $22, $23. And yeah, so they're just here because they just have a ton of reviews in comparison to everyone else. But why is this guy here? Why is he able to overtake everyone else? So he's slightly cheaper than this one, but not by much. However, I think the listing here is done really, really well. So they have, when you just take a look at this one you can already see American made social media, social proof. And they just basically probably nail the messaging. It's even more interesting that they have a 60 count. And that would usually work against them because the price is higher. So you're dealing with a 42 per count and being much more expensive in terms of the value. So I'm actually quite surprised these guys are here. Then that means these guys here probably have a different reason for why they're here. And I'm thinking it has a lot to do with the social media side, because their conversion rates are much, much higher for whatever reason. And it's probably because they nail it on the listing side, because they're clearly not nailing it on the price side and in terms of value as well. Okay, so now when I think about it, how can this particular person or this ASIN compete with this? So they're going to have to run their reviews that are at least going to be 1,000 at a minimum, unless they want to play this game where they're much, much cheaper. They could also play the game where they throw in a much smaller count so that they can be priced around lower here, and then when they click in, people might end up buying the 120 or 180 count one. So that's one way to do it. They need a complete listing overhaul and be better than these guys, because the current state of this is it's not. And then yeah, okay, so that's what we know. It's going to be tough to basically crack this, but let's see how they're doing so far. So I did pull up some screens. Let me see here. So we have, so this is a ASIN site. This is a tool that I use. And so I just pulled them up. These guys, top 10 SP ad spend, and I'm just taking a look at where they're spending all their money. So they're spending it on Moringa capsules, Rosabella, which is the brand name of the number one. And they're bidding pretty high too, because they're top of search for a lot of these. So I think that's a mistake. You don't want to be bidding on these branded keywords, because you're spending money, and because everything is based on conversion rate, the likelihood of you ranking on these keywords is very low. So I actually wouldn't spend my money here and really focus on the other areas. But let's just ignore that and see what else they're going after. So Moringa capsules, that's fine. Moringa pure capsules. So they got a decent rank here. They're number 7. And it looks like that's the only one they're ranking well on. Here's another Rosabella, Pure Vita. So that's in the branded one they're going very strong on. Again, definitely would not recommend going after that. Rosabella and Moringa pure. So outside of that, they're not really spending that much money on other keywords. So it just seems like they're really going after just the main ones, but they're in no position right now to even come close to competing here. So this is their best keyword, Moringa pure capsules. So they're gonna fall somewhere down here. I don't know if we're gonna see it or not. Oh, right here. So they are there, but you can clearly see even on desktop, it's a long way down before, which basically means they're getting absolutely no visibility, especially for this niche, because within this niche, they're probably going to buy from these top 5 just because the reviews are there, the ratings there, the social proof is there. So they need to decide how can they compete in this top 5. And as of right now, they are not able to. Now, number 7 is not going to cut it. So the one thing, this is probably one of the biggest traps for a lot of these ASINs. They're position number 7 or like 7 to 10, and then they're feeling like, hey, I could probably rank in the top 5. But realistically, if I put this right beside all 5 of these guys, they would lose every single time. So what a lot of sellers like to do, or what they think they should do, is send more PPC traffic and get shown here. You see how aggressive they are here, right? So this doesn't actually help because you're sending more traffic. Sending more traffic doesn't help conversion rate. So you're actually spending more, so your cost per click is higher, your ACoS goes up, but your position doesn't change. So if you're already stuck between this position, there's nothing really you can do unless you're able to take this and be able to compete with these guys here, right? So there's only two ways to really sell on Amazon. It's either you sell through PPC at a profit, or you rank organically and make money with an organic rank, which technically has free visibility. Okay, so we know what they're targeting for the SP side. So let's break it down on the niche breakdown side. So this is a tool that I developed in Ads Crafted. We are basically able to pull down all of these different ASINs. So I included this one here that I've been tracking. And what we do is after we pull all the keywords, we assign a percentage. So these are all percentages here of how many of them are owned at each root level. So we have it at each root level, but also at every sub root level. So you have to take a look at this in this way so that you have a better plan of action. Because when we take a look at what they're trying to go after, it's Moringa capsules and Moringa Pure, and that's it. And they're not really even targeting anything else. All the branded ones, basically trying to ignore. But so they're going after Moringa capsules, and Moringa Pure. But I would also ask them, why aren't they going after Moringa Organic, Moringa Powder? Oh, maybe powder wouldn't work because they were capsule, but maybe Moringa Supplement, Moringa Leaf, Moringa. So this one's going to be Spanish, but the revenue is not very high here. Moringa Pure is huge. So they know it's a big one to go after. So this is estimated revenue. They know that they can go after this one. However, it's not in their main image. They don't have a slide specifically for Pure and basically showing how pure their Moringa is. So they're not really putting their best foot forward in terms of their listing, which is really important because that's how you get your conversion rate to improve. If your conversion rate improves, you're going to have a much better chance of ranking higher in the ranks. So they're really missing it there. Moringa oleifera, I think that's another part to, or an ingredient. I'm not 100% sure, but Moringa pills is another one. Moringa natural. So we got natural, we have organic. So there's a lot of different keyword groups that it's missing from this, and that's probably, we could probably see it in here too. So basically what these numbers mean is the higher the number, the more relevant Amazon thinks you are for it. If the lower the number, basically means you are not relevant for it, and Amazon doesn't think you're relevant for it. So just taking a look at this, looking for the red ones. So Moringa Leaf, very low relevancy here. Grams, pills a little bit, natural. I say a little bit because you compare it against the top sellers here. So basically the exposure in all these areas are very low. Even the big ones where they were doing just Moringa capsules, still very low exposure. So definitely you have to send out a lot more PPC reach to really understand what's kind of going on here. There's some other things that I noticed on the ad side. So right now they're only running SP, which is perfect. That's all you really want to run when you're launching. If you're running sponsor brand videos, sponsor brand headline, display, they don't really help with rank. So that's why it's really important to just spend your budget on SP and get that moving along. We talked about the branded keywords. So in my opinion, never ever run those branded ones, especially at the very beginning. And the only ever reason why you ever want to run a branded one is because they might be able to be profitable through PPC by stealing their subscribe and save over time. And I think that's about it. So hopefully that kind of gives you a good idea of how I kind of take a look at listings, whether I feel like they can launch for it right now at this moment in time, and what should really the focus be. Right now, I think they're really missing the mark. Their listing needs a huge uplift for this launch. They need a ton more reviews and to even be able to compete with these guys here. So it's going to be kind of like a long battle. I would then also take a look at cost per click. Maybe we can see what that's like. So we have cost per click here around $2.14. I have a section here that's like financials, so where we are able to kind of estimate what is the average net profit on a PPC sale. So it looks like it's roughly around 11% for the whole Moringa keyword. So basically what this is saying is every sale that you make through PPC, you're losing 11%. So it's not terrible. However, it's not great either. So you're losing money on PPC, which means you need to focus on organic rank. However, to do well in organic rank, you need to beat these guys. You need to hang out with these guys. And if you're not able to do that, then it's going to be a long game. You're going to lose a lot of money as you do it. Yeah. Oh, and I guess one thing I should know, this is 11% loss on the first order of PPC. Obviously, if you have subscribe and save and you have a really good product and you're able to get customers to rebuy 2-3 times, your ACOS is that much higher. So you actually might be profitable because your true ACOS could be like 120%, right? Because right here it's like 41%, but if the average customer buys three times, it could go up to 120%, which means you probably are profitable doing it via PPC, and that's kind of how I would run it until you're able to build up enough social proof that you can then compete with the guys at the very top. And then I would just constantly monitor this and make sure that they're constantly relevant, or like the relevancy is getting improved over time. And the goal is get closer and closer to the guys that are hanging out over here and try to beat them in every single score. And if you're able to do that, then you know where you can get maxed out and where your upper limit is. So yeah, if you like this kind of video, definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and then stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.